The time is 12 o'clock, and here's the midday news. First, the top stories. Ogun State requests for control of federal roads. Former military ruler Babangida joins calls for Nigeria's restructuring. Jonathan says no president can make impact in a state of insecurity. Abga says IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu cannot speak for Indigo. US warns Syria of a potential plan for chemical attack. China accuses India of incursions into its territory. I am Tobi Joseph, bringing you the news in details shortly. Ogun State government has requested for the control of federal roads in the state. Works and Infrastructure Commissioner Olamilekun Adebite says the state government had written to the Federal Ministry of Works to release federal roads network in the state to it. Major federal roads in the state include most of the stretch of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, the Shagamu-Ore Expressway, Ota-Idiroko Expressway, and the Ikorodu-Shagamu Expressway. Adebite faults insinuation in some quarters that Amosu administration is more interested in reconstructing federal roads in the state at the expense of state roads. The commissioner explains that in choosing roads to be reconstructed, the state government always gives priority to those regarded as major or spine roads that will bring more benefits to the state. Adebite also assures that all the major roads being constructed by the Amosu administration has a lifespan of 30 years. Electricity generation has dropped sharply by 1,000 megawatts to 2,982 megawatts earlier on Monday. Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) says the power supply dropped from 3,903 megawatts on Sunday to 2,982 megawatts on Monday. The company also says that shortage of gas supply due to debt trapped the available 600 megawatts at the country's 17 power plants. For instance, generation at the country's largest power plant at Egbe near Ekpe in Edo State dropped from 1,320 megawatts to 220 megawatts. Local government workers says they are being owed salaries by 32 state government and federal capital territory. President of the National Union of Local Government Employees, Ibrahim Khalil, who made this known in a statement, says the salary arrears ranges from 1 month to 16 months. The union, however, listed 14 states that pay the salaries of council workers up to date, as including Ogun, Lagos, Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, Sokoto, and Kebbi State. Other state governments, which nowadays says are not owing workers, are Bauchi, Yobe, Gombe, Cross River, Niger, and Anambra State. Former military president Ibrahim Babangida has joined the growing calls for the restructuring of Nigeria. He appeals to Nigerians to stop further spread of hate speeches, which he recalls led to Nigeria's 30-month civil war, in which millions of lives were lost. Babangida, in a statement, asked those advocating for the breakup of the country to have a rethink. As a Nigerian who fought in the war and survived, Babangida asked leaders nationwide to keep their youth in check to contain the tension in the country. Babangida advocates the devolution of more powers from the federal government to the state government, in which federal government will handle only defense, economy, and foreign policy. He also backed the creation of the state police force, saying that its benefits to the country far outweighs the fear that state police could be misused by the state governors. The former military ruler also asked the presidency to consider releasing the federal roads to the state government. 38 federal and state universities as well as private universities have increased their tuition fees. Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU), which made this known, blames the recent development and poor funding of the university education by federal and state government. Chairman of ASU at University of Ibadan, Dr. Deji Omole, in a statement, rates the Buhari administration poorly in funding university education. For instance, University of Lagos increased its tuition fee from 14,000 naira 500 to 63,500 naira. Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, 27,000 naira to 41,000 naira. University of Nigeria, 60,400 naira to 66,900 naira, and Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, from 19,700 naira to 55,700 naira. Former President Goodluck Jonathan says no president can perform magic in a country where there is political tension and a high level of insecurity. He asked Nigerians to work and pray for peace in order to grow the economy. Jonathan, speaking while receiving members of the former PDP Ministers Forum in his Abuja residence, identifies a threat from terrorists and allied groups as one of the major challenges facing Nigeria. Investors, according to Jonathan, always avoid countries where there is tension and insecurity, adding that what improves the economy is confidence of investors on the security of their investment and workforce. The All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, has decried the indigenous people of Biafra leader Nnamdi Kanu's call on Anambra people to shun the forthcoming gubernatorial poll in the state. The party, in a letter to Kanu signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Ifeatu Obi-Okoye, says the call is irresponsible and devoid of intellectual focus. Kanu, according to the party, has no authority to speak for the Igbos of the Southeast, although acknowledging him as the leader of IPOB. It explains that Biafra's concept was a metaphor for the demand for equity and fair play in the Nigerian state and not a separatist movement. The party says that it stands for restructuring and implementation of the 2014 National Conference resolutions as a certain way to peaceful coexistence among ethnic nationalities and for dousing tension. It urged Kanu not to be carried away by the success of the May 30 sit-at-home call, which was attributable to many reasons, including fear. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has expressed concern over the hard drug abuse by females in Edo State. The state NDLEA commander, Ape Ruben, who expressed the concern, says females involved in the drug abuse and consumption are aged between the ages of 15 and 35 years. Some of the females, according to him, consume multiple drugs such as cannabis, tramadol, and methamphetamine. Suicide bombers have struck again at the University of Maiduguri in the Borno State capital on the night of Eid al-Fitr. There were explosions at 3 different locations, including 2 within the university. 2 persons, including one of the female bombers and a university security guard, died in the attacks. 2 other security guards were injured in the bomb attacks. The university spokesman, Professor Danjima Gambo, says the first female bomber detonated explosives strapped to her body within the campus, killing one of the security guards and injuring 3 others. The second suicide bomber, according to Gambo, entered the campus and was sighted by security guards who shot her dead. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next will be your foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. Edo State says it has identified potential preparations for another chemical attack in Syria and issued a stark warning to the Syrian government. The White House said the activities were similar to those made before a suspected chemical attack in April. Dozens died in the attack, which prompted President Trump to order a strike against the Syrian airbase. The U.S. statement warned President Bashar al-Assad of a heavy price if another strike occurred. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, said Russia and Iran, Mr. Assad's key allies, will also be responsible if such an attack took place. The Syrian government has not responded to the statement of the U.S. Brazilian President Michel Temer has been charged with accepting bribes by the country's chief prosecutor. He is accused of receiving money from the boss of a giant meatpacking firm implicated in a corruption scandal. Mr. Temer has denied any wrongdoing. The charges have been delivered to a Supreme Court judge who must now decide if the case can be sent to the lower house of parliament. The lower house will vote on whether President Temer should be tried. Mr. Temer has vowed to prove his innocence. He was faced a slew of accusations since taking office last year, but these are the first formal charges against him. Mr. Temer's predecessor, Dilma Rousseff, was removed from office for an impeachment vote in the Senate. China has accused India of incursions into its territory between Sikkim and Tibet in a dispute which has raised tensions between the two countries. Officials said Indian border guards had obstructed normal activities on the Chinese side and called on India to immediately withdraw them. India also recently accused Chinese troops of incursion on its side. The area, the Nathula Pass, is used by Indians going for pilgrimages to the Hindu and Buddhist sites in Tibet. The region saw clashes between China and India in 1967, and tensions still flare from time to time. China has also accused India of obstructing the building of a road in what it says is its side of the boundary. In business, Edo government is to set up a foundry and fabrication village to fast-track skill and technological development and the industrialization of the state. To actualize the objective, it has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian Institute of Welding (NIW) to assist to establish the planned fabrication village in the state. Governor Obaseki signed on behalf of the state government, while Dr. Solomon Edebiri, the president of the NIW, signed on behalf of the school at the Edo State Government House in Benin City. According to the governor, the MOU with the institute will give the state global access to welding processes and technological capacity to have welding colonies. The governor also assures of provision of power to the proposed fabrication site in the state. Finally, in the media news, sport news. Greek Super League champions Olympiacos are in talks with Turkish club Fenerbahce for the services of former Super Eagles of Nigerian striker Emmanuel Emenike, since the exit of another Super Eagles striker, Brown Adey, who notched 16 goals before joining Argentina in China. Olympiacos are yet to secure a capable replacement for him. A failed medical by DR Congo international striker Diumechi Mbokani earlier this week have seen Olympiacos intensify their pursuit of the Nigerian. After emerging Greek champions for a record 44 times, Olympiacos will take part in the UEFA Champions League. Emenike scored 8 goals and made 5 assists in 27 games last season for Fenerbahce. That was the media news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Ogun State requests for control of federal roads from the federal government. Former military ruler Babangida joins calls for Nigeria's restructuring. Jonathan says no president can make meaningful impact in a state of insecurity. Abga says IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu cannot speak for Indigo. On the foreign scene, we told you that the United States has warned Syria over a potential plan for chemical attack. We also told you that China has accused India of incursions into its territory. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good afternoon.